Surrounded in romance and conflict, और मैं AI की चर्चा में campus इसका टॉपिक है द पावर ऑफ पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग हाउ टू रीफ्रेम योर माइंडसेट तो शुरू करते हैं चैट से तो इसमें चैट से क्वेश्चंस करेंगे हेलो चैट कैन यू हियर मी
Of course. Just let me know what you'd like to discuss, or if you have any specific questions or topic in mind, and I'll be ready to jump in.
What is a positive thinking? Hello, Charity. Hello, Charity.
Absolutely. Whenever you're ready, just share what you have in mind, whether it's a question, a topic you want to explore, or even just a casual chat, and I'll be here to help or discuss.
What is a positive thinking and why it is important?
Great question. Positive thinking is basically a mindset where you focus on the good in any situation. Doesn't mean ignoring problems, but it does help you challenges, keep you motivated, and often lead to better outcomes. And it's important because it shapes how we approach life, our resilience, our happiness, even our health.
How does positive thinking affect mental health?
Yeah, definitely. So one big thing is that positive thinking isn't just about feeling good. It actually influences your behavior. You expect positive outwardly and even build stronger relationships. So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling cycle. Your mindset shapes your actions, which in turn shapes your experiences.
What is mindset and how does it influence daily life?
A great connection. And so mindset is really the set of beliefs or attitudes you have about yourself and the world. It's kind of like a lens you see things through. If you have a growth mindset, for instance, you believe your abilities can develop with effort, so you're more likely to stick with challenges. And that mindset directly influences your motivation, how resilient you are, and ultimately how much you achieve.
How can negative thoughts impact personal growth?
Yeah, absolutely. So growth mindset is all about seeing challenges as opportunities to learn rather than as threats to your ability. And when you build that mindset, it boosts self-confidence because you start trusting yourself to grow. You also become more persistent when things get tough, and you're more open to feedback, which altogether really helps you keep improving and achieving over
What does
time.
it mean to reframe your mindset?
Exactly. And the cool thing is it's not something you're born with. You can actually cultivate it. You start by catching yourself when you think negatively, and then you reframe those thoughts. So even when you face a setback, you remind yourself it's a step, not a stop. And over time, that shifts how you approach life's challenges.
How can self-awareness help identify negative thinking partners?
Definitely. So having a growth mindset can really help you break free from that spiral of self-doubt. Instead of seeing a failure as a dead end, you see it as just a detour, something you can learn from. And that subtle shift helps keep you going, even when things get tough. So it's like a muscle. You build it over time, and it keeps you resilient.
What are some common examples of negative self-talk?
Yeah, absolutely. So a common example might be thinking, I always mess things up after making a mistake. That kind of thought can make you avoid challenges because you just assume you'll fail. But with a growth mindset, you might reframe it to something like, I didn't get it right this time, but I can learn from this and do better next time. And that shift is really powerful.
How can positive affirmation improve confidence?
Exactly. Because when you start seeing mistakes as temporary and surmountable, you realize you have the power to improve. And that builds confidence because every small step forward shows you that you can handle setbacks. So over time, you trust yourself more, and that confidence fuels even bigger growth.
What role does gratitude play in developing a positive mindset?
Yeah, absolutely. It really starts with small habits, like catching yourself when you think negatively and intentionally rephrasing it. You can also practice gratitude or set small, achievable goals that remind you of your progress. And if you keep at it, that positive self talk and growth mindset will just become second nature.
How can focusing on solution instead of problem improve thinking?
That's a great strategy. So, when you shift from just fixating on the problem to focusing on solutions, you actually feel more empowered. You start asking things like, what can I do next? Or what resources do I have? And that focus keeps your mind on action steps, which builds momentum and
What is
confidence.
important when facing challenges?
Yeah, that's a key point. So, what's important is staying flexible and patient with yourself. You want to stay focused on the process, not just the outcome. Also, celebrating small wins along the way really helps keep your motivation up. And don't be afraid to ask for support or adjust your approach if needed. Flexibility is key.
How can learning from mistakes support positive thinking?
Yeah, that's a big one. When you learn from mistakes, you're basically seeing them as data, proof that you can improve. Each mistake shows you what doesn't work, so you adjust your approach. And that builds confidence because you realize every misstep is actually a step in the right direction.
What are the benefits of surrounding yourself with positive people?
Oh, that's a great point. So when you're around positive people, it kind of rubs off on you. They encourage you, they celebrate your wins, frame setbacks, stay motivated, and keep your mindset on track.
What daily habits can help maintaining a positive mindset?
Yeah, daily habits make a huge difference. Things like starting each morning with a gratitude practice, maybe journaling about what went well, setting small daily goals, and even taking a short mindfulness break. All of that keeps you anchored in a positive frame of mind. And consistency really is key.
How can mindfulness support positive thinking?
Yeah, exactly. And it's also about being kind to yourself when you have setbacks instead of spiraling into self criticism, reflecting forward with more resilience.
What, what challenges do people face when trying to think positive?
Yeah, definitely. So, a big challenge is that old habits of negative self talk are really ingrained. They kind of pop up automatically. Also, some people might feel like being realistic means being negative, so they resist positive thinking. And it can take a lot of practice, especially when things aren't going your way, to keep that positive lens.
Can you give me a short summary about this topic?
Of course. So just remember that it's completely normal to face those ups and downs. If you catch yourself slipping into negative thinking, just pause, take a breath, and remind yourself that every step, even a small one, is progress. And the more you do that, the more natural that positive mindset will become.
तो दोस्तों आज की हमारी वीडियो थी उम्मीद करता हूँ आपको पसंद आई होगी मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में अल्लाह हाफिज़